Do you have what it takes to be a wellness leader? Now, whether you think of that as a wellness coach, a wellness advisor, maybe you see yourself as a wellness educator, a speaker, a presenter, someone who facilitates maybe lectures, workshops, courses, perhaps of your own or at conferences. Maybe you see yourself leading wellness retreats or events of some kind, even in collaboration with other wellness leaders. There's so much opportunity here. And I get asked all the time, Kimberly, do I have what it takes to be a wellness leader? What would it mean for me to become a leader in the wellness space? Well, let's dive in. So I put some thought to this, and what it boils down to is this. There is one category of human being who should become a wellness leader. So we're going to start broad, but then I've got some subcategories here for you. So I'm going to read this because I took the time to write my thoughts out. If you are passionate about wellness and holistic well-being, now wellness is the active pursuit of choices, mindset, philosophy, lifestyles that lead to your happiest, healthiest life. Well-being is that happiest, healthiest life and your perspective of it. You want to know all you can know about how to live your best life through holistic well-being while helping others do the same. So there's got to be that innate desire to not only live it for yourself, but to live it, help others live it as well. You study it, you apply it in your own life, and you feel like you could talk about it all day. In fact, you feel like wellness, or at least an area within wellness, is something that you could talk about every day for the next 5 years. If that little tidbit resonated with you, if you're passionate about this space, you're passionate about learning about it, you're passionate about living it in your life, and you're passionate about helping others apply it and live it in their lives, then my friend, I think you're meant to be a wellness leader. And in fact, I would go so far as to say, if you feel called to lead in this space in some way, shape, or form. You can coach, you could do one-on-one, you could do group coaching, you can create workshops, courses, you could be a speaker, you can be a retreat facilitator. Like there's so many great options, as I mentioned earlier, great opportunities. But if you just feel called to be in this space, it would spark joy in your soul and it would uplift and help others. I believe it is your moral obligation to see how to make this come to life for you. Now, I want to share with you subcategories. So you might be thinking, okay, kind of, I'm hitting on those cylinders. I'm feeling what you're talking about, Kimberly, but I'm not quite sure how to kind of navigate into this arena. So let me ask you a couple of questions. Have you perhaps been through a challenging time at some point in your life where a focus on your holistic well-being was a major role in your success, in your ability to persevere through the challenging time, the trauma, the illness, the disease, the loss, the grief, whatever it was holistic well-being a major catalyst for you to move to the other side of it and get to a better place? And now, and you feel it on your heart to help others, to send an arm back and to pay it forward by helping others who are on a similar or same path that you once were on, where now that you've gone through it, you could help them get through it too and get to a better place just like you did. Yes, you need to be a wellness leader. You need to be a coach, a course creator, a workshop facilitator. You need to get into this space, start sharing your story and teaching others what you've learned. Pay it forward. Now, I also, of course, have an affinity for those who have the same background as me. So sending a hand back for those who are on the same or similar path that I was on. I've been in the health and fitness industry for over 30 years. I still teach fitness and yoga classes. But I'm going to ask you, if you're a fitness pro who perhaps your body doesn't so much like teaching 20 classes a week and doing burpees all day long, or at least in every class, and or maybe you're a trainer and your body's just not up for training clients morning, noon, and night. And maybe you're even spending as much time in your car traveling from one facility to another to teach or to train clients, and it's just wearing you out. It's exhausting. So it could be that you haven't been in the industry that long, but maybe you're just dealing with fatigue, overwhelm, maybe even injury, maybe an acute injury, or maybe overuse injuries from all the teaching and working with clients. Then you know what? You are perfectly suited to, if you meet that major category, if you're passionate about holistic well-being, and you've already started learning about going beyond the physicals, because you got the physical. If you're a group fitness instructor, a yoga teacher, a personal trainer, if you're already in this space, you got physical well-being. That's one dimension of the whole wheel of complete well-being, right? So this is just about widening your lane. So have you already started to learn some of the other things that you need to learn? Maybe about emotional well-being, intellectual well-being, social well-being, spiritual well-being, environmental well-being. Those are all the dimensions that I coach through and that I teach the coaches that I work with. If you're interested in learning about the other aspects, the other dimensions of well-being, and kind of adding it to your offering, hands down, this is a phenomenal way to continue to serve in an industry that you love and for a community that you love. So you can widen your lane and broaden what it is you offer beyond teaching classes and training clients. I just took my class schedule down. I don't train clients anymore. I do coach wellness one-on-one and do some business coaching, but I brought my class schedule down to allow for me to spend more time online, working primarily with groups. I love teaching to groups, but it has been such a great leveler. It has been such a great opportunity to create more balance and allow me to create my own schedule, so that I can be there for my son. It's the biggest reason I stepped out of my corporate role a few years back, working 60, 70 hours a week and traveling all the time. Now I get to teach 10 classes a week and spend my time on Zoom and connecting with wellness leaders and fitness pros all over the world. It's just the coolest thing ever. And then one other kind of subcategory here. Are you a fitness pro that maybe feels like you're aging out? Oh my gosh, I have this conversation so often with other fitness pros who, like me, have been in the industry for at least 10, maybe 20. Like I said, I've been in for over 30 years, and I know if you're a fitness pro, you might fall into that category too. I'd love to know in the comments, like, how long have you been teaching or training clients? But if you've been in for a long time, this is one of the fastest evolving industries. When I started, all there was high-low, like the high knees, the grapevine, the mambo chasse. There's high-low and then step. And now look at all there is to experience in the world of health and fitness. It's amazing. It's so cool. But when you've been in it for a long period of time, and in an industry that primarily focuses on the physical, because we lead workouts, whether you're teaching group fitness, yoga, training a client or a group of clients in a small setting, you're leading them through movement. You're leading them through workouts. So it is very much about the physical well-being, right? And it's a beautiful thing. But in the industry that is focused so much on the physical as we age, I mean, I certainly have. I'm not the same at 51 as I was teaching at 21. I can promise you that. My body feels different. It takes longer to recover. There are certain things that don't feel as good in my body, like those burpees I mentioned earlier. But I've had so many fitness pros come to me and say, I feel like I'm aging out. I feel like I'm not relevant anymore. Well, I'm here to tell you that not only are you relevant, you are more relevant than you ever were. If you started in this industry 10 years ago, you're more relevant now than you were 10 years ago. If you started 30 years ago or longer, like me, you're more relevant now than you were then. I promise you that. Why? Because you have this huge amount of life experience and wisdom now within you, in addition to your ability to lead a workout. So you are the perfect person to widen your lane. You got the physical, you've been doing that for a while. Maybe the fatigue I mentioned for the last little subcategory is hit as well, perhaps. But you don't have to age out. You don't have to feel like you're not relevant anymore. You don't have to go sell Tupperware or nail stickers or essential oil unless you like those things, or clothing. If you like those things, if you could be passionate about those side gigs, side hustles, then I say go for it. I know a lot of amazing pros in and out of the fitness and wellness space who do that and they love it and build great communities. And I high five you all day long, support you, rooting for your rise. But I've talked to a lot of pros who move into those side hustles because they feel like they need to financially to make ends meet. And I'm just here to tell you that if you want to do it, but you don't have to do it. You could stay in this space as a leader and step into the role of wellness leader. You can coach one-on-one or in groups. As I mentioned earlier, you could create a workshop, lead a workshop, or learn someone's workshop or course to be able to deliver. You can facilitate online challenges and retreats. There are just so many different paths that you can take. And if you are still feeling called to serve in an industry that you love and for a community that you adore, then this is the perfect way. As I mentioned for the last subcategory, you widen your lane. And basically, it's about changing the definition that you have for the industry that we're in and the role that you play. Okay? So how can you shift your perspective on the role that you play in this industry, which really should be the wellness industry? Instead of just leading workouts, could you also facilitate conversations about topics in the area of wellness, holistic well-being that you're really passionate about? I mean, because remember, that was like the first prerequisite. You got to be passionate about holistic wellness. And whether it's holistic wellness in general, like me, I love all the dimensions, or maybe there's a certain area of wellness that you're most passionate about and you want to dive into kind of that niche. If that's where you find yourself moving, or you've not necessarily moving, maybe you're not moving yet, but if you feel yourself called in that direction, I promise you, if a call has been placed on your heart, if a desire has been placed on your heart, then the wherewithal is there. The ideas, the impulses, the inspiration, the collaborative components, the people, the resources, everything you need to move now in that direction can be made available to you. But you first have to own it and decide to go for it. So as a reminder, the biggest thing is this. You got to be passionate about wellness, holistic well-being. You want to know everything you can know about living your happiest, healthiest, your best, what I call your most inspired life. It's just my way of saying living life from the inside out. We all want to be able to live with the freedom of living our life on our terms, where we feel really good, not just physically, but also emotionally, spiritually, on all levels from the inside out. That's the inspired life. You study it or are willing to study it, learn about it. You are passionate about applying it in your own life, but beyond that, you're equally as passionate, if not perhaps more, about helping others live it too. Bring it to life for them. It's important that you learn it and live it first, right? Because you're going to be the role model. If you step into leadership here, you're the role model. So you got to learn it for yourself. You got to live it in your life so that you can be an authentic role model for others. Yeah. And then those subcategories, it could be, I don't care what industry you come from. You know, maybe you're a nurse, maybe you're an accountant or a teacher. I've worked with hotel managers. I do have a nurse who became a wellness coach. There are different walks of life who find wellness, holistic well-being, perhaps through something that you've been through in your life. Or maybe it's just an area of study that's always interested you. But if you have something that you have persevered to the other side of, this is that first subcategory. And holistic well-being was a major tool that you used. It was a major force, either in your healing or in your ability to persevere to the other side. My friend, you've got gifts to share. You've got knowledge, experience, insight, and wisdom to share for others who are out there right now going through what you went through. And they're just waiting for someone like you. In fact, they're waiting for you to start to show up and start to help them move forward on their path with your support. And then, of course, fitness pros, whether it is that your body perhaps isn't allowing you to teach those higher intensity classes. Maybe it's an old injury, a new injury, overuse, whatever the case may be. Or maybe you feel like you're kind of aging out because you've been teaching for so long. And there's so much great new fresh talent coming in and teaching all those great high intensity classes and as many classes they can get. I remember when I used to sub all the time. And now I have to be like, okay, I could sub, but at what cost? Because the recovery takes a little bit longer. But I refuse to age out of an industry that I love. I refuse to age out from being able to help a community that I adore. And I think that you should insist on the same. So for you fitness pros out there who either are just unable to go high intensity, either teaching classes or training clients all day long, or you feel like you're aging out and you're less relevant, I'm here to tell you, remember, you are more relevant now. You've got life experience under your belt now. You've got more insight and wisdom to share than you ever have before. And you might even be a combination of these. Maybe you're a fitness pro who has persevered through a challenging time. Maybe you've healed through an illness, a disease, an injury, or moved through some kind of challenge or loss in your life. And you relied on more than just fitness to get you to the other side. You started to dive more into your emotional well-being. Maybe you got into more personal growth. Maybe it was meditation. I know for me, I got into meditation. It became what I call the presence practice. I get into more gratitude, studying positive psychology. I studied happiness. Do you know you can study happiness? It's awesome. But I started learning all these different philosophies and wisdom traditions that allowed me to make changes, big changes in my life and how I was living my life. And then I just started finding the opportunities, creating, honestly, the opportunities to pay it forward through wellness, through coaching others, because I knew from personal experience how it had helped me. And so I felt then called to see if I could teach what I learned to help others. And I did. And it worked. And my first clients were the people who were taking my classes, who were my personal training clients. They're the ones asking for more. And that could very well be the case for you if you're a fitness pro. Otherwise, it's just about starting to show up and put yourself out there so people can start to know who you are, what your values are, what you stand for, who you feel called to help, how you can help them. And it's a beautiful thing. So if you feel called to move into this space to become a wellness leader, remember that could be a coach one-on-one or in a group. You could be a course creator and facilitate courses, workshops. Maybe you want to lead retreats or online challenges. The list goes on and on. You might maybe want to speak at events, be an educator. I've done all of these. They're all amazing opportunities to pay it forward and to make a positive impact on people's lives. So if you feel called to move into this space, even if you're not sure what direction, then you got to give it a shot. So first step, if you haven't checked out my Wellness is the New Fitness training yet, it is available for you. I'm going to link it, and I'd love for you to check it out. It is a free training. I just finished creating a companion guide, an 8-page guide that goes along with it. So if you prefer to have a visual and to read, and then there's a video that explains it as well. I think it's about 45 minutes. But those two together will give you the foundation to understand the 6 dimensions of well-being that I teach as a philosophy. And I actually went ahead and took a step further, and I went beyond the wheel. And I'm sharing with you the other philosophies that through the Inspired Life University, I teach and I coach by, and I teach other coaches to coach by as well. So kind of pulling back the curtain and sharing all of that with you. It's completely free. I'll put a link somewhere here, depending on where you are watching this. And again, if you feel called to move in this direction, that is your next step. If you have not already given yourself the opportunity to dive into understanding the different dimensions of well-being, then come on into the Inspired Life University and learn the 6 dimensions that I teach. It is physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, environmental, and social. And I'm going to teach them to you and how to bring them to life in your experience so that you can then make sure you're living it and be a role model to help others live it too. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. If you've already learned about the Wheel of Wellbeing with the Inspired Life, I want to know what's your favorite dimension. What's the favorite dimension for you to dive into? Maybe it's because it's something that you felt already passionate about and you're already kind of like just super into, or maybe it was one of the 6 dimensions that you felt challenged by because you weren't nurturing it as well as you probably should. So put in the comments which dimension of the Wheel of Well-Being, when you were exposed to it, either resonated most with you because you love it or challenged you because you maybe weren't nurturing it. And if you haven't been through this training or have learned about the Wheel of Wellbeing through the Inspired Life University, you're going to click the link, register, get access to the free training and the companion guide. And then, I mean, hey, come back and share with me in the comments or in our Difference Makers tribe. I'll put a link to that too. Our Difference Makers tribe is our free Facebook group. Let me know inside there what you think about the Wheel of Wellbeing and which dimension speaks to you in one way, shape, or form. That's what I got for you today. Kimberly from the Inspired Life University, thanks for spending a bit of your time with me. And until our paths cross again, please know that I am sending you so much love. Take care.